Hello, welcome back to Minecraft World with Python and Peter Amland's Ursina 3D engine, which I'm loving. I hope you're loving it too. So, I just want to make that, I'm going to attempt to make a quick video where I show you how we load the terrain in the game state, which we did in the previous part 19, in this part, which reminds me, first thing that I need to do is just save this as tutorial 20, so I don't overwrite the stuff we've done in the last the last video, in case there's any disasters and things. Okay, so what am I looking at? This should be the save function, yes. So we basically now want to do the opposite to the save function using pickle. Right, so the first thing we need to do is we can take away the pass keyword. Now we're actually going to put some real code in here. So we want to import pickle, and we're going to have to import system and operating system as well, those modules, so that we can get hold of our path. In fact, we'll build our path here. So path is going to be what do I need first? The directory, isn't it? The directory name, that's it. Excuse me, my voice is still a little bad. OS path directory name, and then we want is it OS absolute path. Oh no, I may need system there. Nope. What do I need? I need oh, it was OS path. Yeah, absolute path. Right. OS path absolute, there it is, absolute path, and then in here, yes, we want the system argument v, and we want index 0, which will be this main module, or rather the file that's running this piece of code. Okay, sorry, I had to pause. So we're back in here, change of venue. So we're building our path, and then, yeah, that allows us to change the working directory, i.e. the folder where we want to look for our file, to the current file of our main module, or executable if you've managed to build your game or simulation. Okay, very similar to the save function, we now want to use the with keyword, because we're going to open a file, which has nothing to do with pickle. I think I've got pickle on there in the last video. I'm getting confused. And we want to open a file called pickling.txt. So that's what we called it last time. There it is, pickling.txt. Obviously, if you've called it something different, change it to the name that you've changed it to. And you want to do something very similar at the end here, but instead of writing, we want to read, and then we do want to convert it from bytes. So we use the B. And then we're going to call our file F. So you can put, again, any word there you like. F is kind of traditional for opening and dealing with a file. And now what we want to do is, I think I call like ND for new data coming in. So this is just a temporary file where we're going to gather the data from our file. So now we can use pickle, if we can spell it. There we go, better than me. Pickle.load. So that's like the opposite of dump, and then we just want to load F. Everything from F. So what will come off there is a list. I'm just scrolling now up to the save function, just to remind us from last video. So we built this list called new list, and on that list we stored the subject's position first, then the terrain dictionary, storing all of our terrain information, then the subdictionary, which is just for the generation of the terrain function to know where it's already been. So it's distinct from the terrain dictionary. the terrain model, so saving everything that we've built so far. Well, not built so far, sorry, all the terrain that's built itself, and then the noise object, which contains our Perlin noise information, so that if we start generating new terrain with an old piece of terrain, it will generate it in the correct way. So using the noise generation that the loaded terrain has been using, so things match up. So we're doing the opposite. So we've got our list of here, and now we want to populate our familiar terrain variables with data from the save file. There we go. So we want to say varch, this is the main one, t dictionary equals, and I'm going to do a copy of this information. I don't want to point to the same place in memory just in case. So I'm going to wrap all of this in copy. Again, you can, because you'll have more time than me, you can experiment without copy and see if there's a difference at all. Again, you can tell me what happens in the comments if you like, with any success. Right, so we're going to copy ND. Now we need to get the correct index from within our list for the terrain dictionary. And I don't think it's the first thing, it's the second thing. So the first thing that we can get off is the subject's position. But since we're dealing with the terrain dictionary, we'll sort that one out. So it's not the first position, which would be 0, it's 1, which is a bit confusing. We start counting at 0, then 1. So it's kind of like the second thing on our list now. There we go. So to put things in order, we'll say subject position equals, and again I'll just copy the ND data or list. There we go. And so we're taking off that first element, which should be a vector 3. I was just going to say, I haven't, in my prepare code, I've been trying to stick to my prepare code so everything just runs really smoothly, but I always think of new things or slight changes. I didn't try to save and then load the subject's position, so that will probably go wrong. Let's see. Then we need the sub dictionary, which I don't need to put varch on the front of that. Varch, remember, was our mining system object, and it has the terrain dictionary as one of its member functions. The terrain dictionary doesn't actually exist in the main module. It's packaged away and organized very nicely in varch. Right. Subdictionary, however, does live in here because it only lives and works and has relevance in the terrain generation function. Okay, copy, same thing again, ND, and I think we're at position 2. What else do we need? I can't do it from memory. The terrain model. So this is a bit different, and then the noise. So let's just say noise. Yeah, that's all that we called the noise object. We called our noise object noise. So yeah, that should be no problem. And this will be ND4, so the fifth element. So, fifth element. And in between here, we need a terrain model. Let's call it terrain model. We can call it whatever we like. It's a little bit confusing to call it that because we did call it terrain model in the save function, but as you probably know, but just for those people who don't, or as a reminder, any variable that we have created inside this block of code in Python, it will be temporary. It has a local scope, so it only exists in here, unlike these global variables, which you want to exist everywhere in the module, not across modules, I don't think. maybe they do. That would be a revelation. anyway, so what was I saying? So this terrain model variable is deleted from memory when we get into load. So this terrain model variable is a completely new baby. It's a new thing. So we're going to copy ND at position 3. There we go. Let's just make sure that makes sense. Up here, new list. This is in the save function. Position 0 for the position, sorry, index 0 for the position, index 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So 3 will be a terrain model. Wonderful. I was tempted to kind of build a mesh there, but I'm going to stick to the plan, stick to my prepare code. So, talking of which, now we kind of want to delete all of the current terrain that we're using, and then load into megaset 1, like a large entity, this model. Will give megaset 0, which will now be empty, this model, and we'll build it up inside of its mesh using the vertices, the triangles, colors, and UVs in that order. So let's do that first. So we'll call it TM for terrain model equals an entity. Wait a minute, no. We'll build that actually inside the mesh of megaset 0 when we get down there. First thing we need to do, now let's delete all the current terrain. That's what we need to do. So we can say for S in subsets. Well, I should start in subcubes, I guess. Let's just start over. S in subcubes. We'll say S dot. Oh no, we just need to say destroy S. And then the same thing for S in subsets. Destroy S. This feels very destructive. And then for M in megasets, destroy M. There we go. Then we can clear them. So subcubes. So that's going to be a list. So we want to clear U. We want to subsets. We can clear U, and megasets. You can clear U as well. So I'll put that code all together. So let's delete all the current terrain. Now we want to reinstantiate these objects, create terrain entities, and in the last video we created this function, create terrain entities, which creates all of our subsets empty and disabled, all of our subsets empty and disabled, all the megasets emptied and disabled. We also need to reset the terrain generation variables. So, like current cube wants to be 0, current megaset wants to be 1, current, I'll explain that in a moment, subset equals 0. And I think radius needs to be 0, is that what it's called? Theta needs to be 0. So these are variables used by the terrain generation way back in like video 3 or 4 or something like that, where we're swirling around our player's position. So that's a radius, and theta being the angle that we're going around building the terrain. So you want to reset that to 0. Current megaset wants to go to 1 because just before that, we are going to say megasets 0. So we can call that now because we've called create terrain entities. So we've got all of our megasets, and I think we've got 99, but they're all empty. They are all entities though. And so, how did I do it? Did I just say, let me have a look at my code. Damn, I have to go back to my code. Oh, so this looks familiar. So we're doing all this. Essentially, enable. Oh, okay, we just assign it as an entity. Yeah. Okay. Equals a new entity. So we're just saying, I know you're already an entity, but here we go. I'm going to make you into an entity. Now, if we want to build a model from a mesh using code and data that's already containing all our vertices and everything, we do it this way. We can say your model equals a mesh, capital M, and then open and close brackets. And inside these open and close brackets, we need to put the data corresponding to vertices, etc. So let's put that out there. So it looks a little bit tidy. I hate the way the brackets have gone down here. That's not very Pythonic, is it? Not very nice. So what do we need to say? So vertices equals nd. No, wait a minute. We've already saved that, haven't we? We've put the terrain model into terrain model. Right. Let's call that tm. So we don't have to write all of that out. I think I was going to do that before, wasn't I? So tm is itself a list. And the first thing on that list was its vertices. I'll just do the second one and then I'll go and remind you of where I got that index from, just in case you've forgotten. Then we need triangles, which equals tm 1. And I'm just going to show you where I'm getting these indices from. So up here we go. So terrain model, it's a list, notice with the square bracket, and at index 0 we've got the vertices, index 1 we've got triangles, then colours, and then UVs. We'll just save all our texture UV information. Okay, so then we've got colours equal tm2, and then finally UVs equals tm index 3. I can't remember what we went up to yet. There's 4 altogether, but the last one will be 3. And then let's bring those naughty brackets over there to see what's going on. Wait a minute, that one finishes there. So our entity, sorry, my help tags are getting in the way, or tooltips I should say. So remember, we're just building an entity, which is quite simple for us, but the model, we're actually going into some detail behind the scenes and building it up. And that is done inside this mesh function. So it starts there and ends there, and that's like the first parameter of our entity, which sets the model. The second parameter, so we need another comma there, will be the texture of the entity, and that just needs to be our old friend qtext, like that. And then we can finish I'll put the bracket there. There we go. So in this entity, this main parenthesis, set pair of parentheses, we've just got 2 parameters. We've got the model equals a mesh, that goes down to there. We've got a comma, texture equals qtext. There we go. So we've placed that in megaset 0. The reason why I've done that to megaset 0 is because in our mining system, in last video, we've reincorporated the megasets. So we can now mine the loaded terrain. Well, that's the idea anyway. Okay. I don't like the fact that these look very dull blue. It means I need to make all of these, I think, global. It would obviously be better if I tidied this up into a function that is called reset and just resets all of those and resets all of these as well, because I'm sure that would be needed in other places as we develop. We need noise and subdict, it looks like that. Okay, so at the top of our load function, we need, I like doing imports first. and I'll just add a comment. Open the main module directory for correct file. There we go. Open the file, populate, good. So underneath there, we'll say global. So I think I needed subdictionary. We needed rad, theta, current, subset. Let's go on to a new line. Current cube, current megaset. Was there anything else? I'll just look for any dull blue noise we need. If you were calling that out at home, well done. I needed noise. There we go. So we've got theta. Lovely. Let's have a look at my. No, should we just try? Should we just try and run it? I was going to say, let's look at my prepared code to see if we've done everything. That wouldn't be fun. That would just, then everything would just go correctly and it would be a good tutorial. We want things to go wrong. So it's kind of a bad tutorial, but also great because it's useful to watch people overcome bugs. So here we are. Oh, this is like my worst seed. So we're in 107. Right. So we've saved that previous file already. So I should just be able to press N. Although I haven't bound that to the key yet, have I? So there's no way for me to test the load function. So I have to come out. And let's go to input. So we've got to call this. We've got to call the function that we just spent all that time writing. And I've gone the wrong way. So let's use the find. I don't use find enough. Input. Yeah, where's input, please? Thank you. Line 267 now. Right. So I should have made this when I made the save. So I'll do it N because N's just next to B. You can pick better keys. I'm sure you found something better. There we go, load. Right. Save that. And now let's try and kind of run it. So I'm dropping, let's just press N. Oh! And I'm suddenly in a different position. I was floating in the air and now I'm on the ground. So presumably that's where I saved it. Oh, generating is still generating. So maybe, oh, that is something. We want to maybe turn off generating. Oh yeah, I haven't incorporated the trees. So these trees are have not been destroyed like megasets and subsets and things. That's not something, I hadn't done that in my preparation anyway, but that's easy enough. We can just delete the trees and repopulate them and things. But as we're walking around on this loaded file, the trees will work and we can generate new terrain in the usual way. We can even, with that jolt, we just created another megaset. Let's just turn off generation at the moment. Down here is new terrain, which we can mine in the usual way. There we go. Yep. And then we can go back up to the start and yes, we can even mine some terrain that we've loaded in. So everything's working. Now, did I put a cross in here? I can't remember. Well, anyway, okay, let's go up to the mountain. And on this top of the mountain, let's now put a cross in the ground. So we can identify this bit of terrain that we saved. There we go. So save that cross. And where's my position? I know. I'll stand. No, I won't go. For drama, I'll come down in the valley. So I'm in the valley. About there. There we go. Looking at baby. Oh yeah, I noticed I was looking down, wasn't I? So we need to save the or reset the player's rotation. So I'll press B. That should, yeah, notice the jolt there, but it only took about 2 seconds to save. So it should have saved this terrain with our cross on the mountain. Sounds very religious. And then let's escape. And then we'll just go and have a look in our folder. How long is this video? Oh god, it's almost half an hour. So I'm going to finish this before half an hour. Because we've done it. We've actually done it. This is not the right folder. There we go. Pickling. There it is. So that was already created, but if I go to get info, the time now for me is 1951. So this was created 1950. There you go. It's 8.4 bytes. There you go. So it has just been overwritten. That's quite good. I showed you that it was generated in the previous video, saved, and in this video we've kind of shown you overwriting it, and we've got loading working. So what did I just want to do? Oh yeah, I wanted to go and jump back in there. I noticed theta is blue here. This is in the update loop. This has nothing to do with what we're doing. Let's just add that to its global list. That won't make too big of a difference though. Anyway, so we want to go to load function, please. Right, load function is very close. There it is, 195. So what I did want to do as well, like down here where we're kind of resetting the game state, reset game state, except for this current mega set. Whoops, that one's a bit different. I need to add just a little note. MB, nota bene, note well that I'm not going to explain it. I've only got 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay, what was it? Oh yes, so I wanted to say generating equals false. No, -1. Can generate. Can't remember what that does, but I remember that we kind of need it as well. So I need to add those to the global list. There must be a better way than I'm doing for all these globals. This looks very messy. Can generate and generating. There we go. So now when we load our new terrain, we won't be generating and all jolty and things like that. It'll be a bit smoother. Which would be great if we load a massive. Now we can almost instantly load massive terrains that we've already built. That would probably be the best way to start it for a player, for someone that you don't know. So they're dropped into a very large world, and it does generate when they get like closer to the edges and things. Anyway, I also wanted to change the subject's rotation equals, and I think we can let's just build this and just say 0, 0, 0. I might need 0.0 just in case it doesn't like integers or something. But there we go. So yeah, so we're not looking down, as we might have been doing. Okay, was that everything I wanted to do? I think so. Oh no, there was a big thing. I'm not going to be able to fit this in, but we wanted. This is the right video to fit it into there. Let's do N. The rotation's not good. I was looking down, wasn't I? I should be looking up there. So the X rotation didn't work. My vector 3 there didn't work. Anyway, let's go up the mountain and see if my X is there to prove that we've saved. Have I gone up the wrong one? Oh no, I've gone up the right one. So I've gone up the right one. Oh, there's Vincent down there. Well, there you go. It's perfect. Now, what's weird is that it looks like now we've hollowed out the terrain. Now, remember, the terrain always was hollow, but the illusion has gone now. We can't see the built or the spawned cubes. So that's the last thing. So I'm not going to be able to do this in 20 seconds, but let's just have a look. Basically, on our save function, we want to add to this list, where is it? This list, the new list, we also want, let's put it as the last position so we don't have to change all the other numbers. We also want builds, and I think that's in Varch builds. There, it is coming up. Okay, so we'll just quickly go across to the mining system. There it is. This builds, it equals an entity, so it's like a mega set really. That just has everything that we built or everything that we spawned gets combined into it. And so that's what we want to save. We want to save all the structures that we've built, which we're not doing at the moment. In the cross, the spawned cubes underneath that were dirt coloured, or soil coloured, just disappeared. They weren't saved. So we want to, if this works, we'll actually be able to see them. But we have to resave the file. So yeah, so this should be fairly simple. Is that it? We just add that there. So we've saved it. We've added it to a new list. Yep. Okay, so now the work has to be done in loads. So we want to say varch builds equals copy nd for the new data at index 5. Do you have to... No, I was going to say, do we have to empty that out? It doesn't. I think we just assign it and then it writes over everything else. This seems bad. I should maybe... I don't know. Why didn't my subject rotation didn't really work either, did it? Well, we could save that as well. Anyway, I'll keep that on there. This didn't seem to work. Oh no, it's the Y. No. The Y looked okay. It was the X. Maybe something else. Let's try X equals... Or maybe it's mapped to where the mouse is. Let's just try this anyway. Equals 0.0. What's going on? What am I doing? So yeah, we've Varch builds has been copied into. Is that it? Is that all we have to do? Well, we are clearing all the mega sets and things. So I kind of feel like we should kind of empty. Well, let's just see what happens with that. So first we need to save a new train and make a new cross somewhere. Or a new shape. Let's go for a new shape. So where are we now? What, 107? Well, okay, 106. There we go, right. In this, next to baby, kind of going towards baby, right, I'll stop generating there. So here's our terrain. Oh, it's very similar, isn't it? So on the way to baby, there, we'll let's build something. I'm good at building. I wasn't. I thought I was in the other video. There we go. That is pretty sweet. And then some netherite. That's fantastic, isn't it? That's great. Looks like a demon's finger or something, or a factory. I'm scared of it now. I don't like it. Others. And we'll... Oh yeah, I'm already in mine mode, obviously. And then we'll just remember that I had to do this. Oh, there's baby's foot. I'm digging you out, baby. There we go. So we can say that it's, yeah, got clear ground all the way around. Right, and I'll put a few more bits here. There we go. I shouldn't have said I was good at building. That's just the worst thing. Okay, so now we press N. No, we press B to save. B for save. Already saved, apparently. Escape. Run it again. Can I do this before 45 minutes? So yeah, what's quite exciting is I haven't planned this bit. Oh, and of course, next time we get my favourite seed, this one. Right, now let's look up, and let's press N. Yeah, it didn't take my rotation. Look how quickly it loads though. So rotation we need to work on. And I don't see my build. Oh no. All the trees are in the way. It's not just that the trees are in the way, is it? Okay, let's come out. And let's press N really quickly. And go up towards baby. Okay. So, it looks like I'm on top of my build there. But they've not appeared. So I do have to do a bit more work here. Oh. I probably have to build them up like I've done, of course, like we've done with the vertices, triangles, colours of our terrain model. Oh, of course, because the build model is a model. Right. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna do. Okay. So we'll call it build model equals, and I've already copied that bit, haven't I? Whoops. And so that's just going to be varch builds model. There we go, just replacing E there. So I'm in the save function, and now I'm creating this temporary variable called builds model, where we're just going through the vertices, triangles, colours, and UVs again. Instead of just saying E, we've got varch and builds because we're referring to that entity. It's not a list, by the way. It's an entity. I've named it badly. I call it builds. There we go. Varch builds. So we can't just throw varch builds on there. We're now throwing builds model on there, which we need to reconstruct. So here we're going to say builds model, or BM, equals copy that. And then we also want to destroy varch builds. So varch builds destroy and builds. And then we want to reset. So we want to build up varch again. So varch builds equals an entity whose model equals, and we'll copy everything in between there. Lovely. Now we don't want the terrain model, we want the build model, BM. Did we call it BM here? Yes, BM equals copy that stuff, and that should be exactly the same. That should work. Let's try. So we've got to resave some terrain. I really should have taken off the tree, shouldn't I? This is 106. Oh yeah, so, okay. Right, stop generating the terrain. We'll go up to the mountain near baby, and okay, there's not enough terrain there, so here, this really is the worst. Okay, right. I should have just set the seed to something. Okay, what have we got? This is 103. Okay, we can work with 103. So down here, some flat terrain. So I'll stop generating by going into build mode, and then let's go for a square thing. Look at that. And then we'll just be elegant and quick and just put a ruby there. Look at that. Isn't that glorious? So, and where will we be? We'll be behind these trees, kind of looking down, or looking this way. We'll be close to the edge of my map there. Then I'll save it there. B. Already saved. Now we'll go out of the game, back into the game. I'm still under 45 minutes. Press N. Yep. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's really cool. I don't know what's happened. We've got this weird black sludge on the top of the ruby. This is the coolest bug I've ever seen. What's really scary is that the terrain builds textures are completely messed up. So something has been lost in translation there, which I'll go and sort out behind the scenes. If I find out the answer, I'll just change the code and I'll put a comment in the code if you want to go and have a look on GitHub. Although the code, of course, is there for you. But the key thing is, it's definitely saved our build. That's it. So now we've got really a complete save and load game situation, which means we don't have to generate all this terrain from scratch. We could create a massive terrain, save it, and then load that at the very start of the game would be a great idea. So a couple of bugs. This weird bug where it looks like it's been dipped in nightmares. That's crazy. And the other bug is, oh yeah, just we're not looking in the right way. We need to reset the position, reset the rotation, sorry, of our subject, and deal with the trees. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Under 45 minutes, and it kind of works. Hope you enjoy. See you next time.